What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks to everyone who's recently subscribed. I really appreciate the support and I hope that you enjoy being part of the community. In today's video, I'm going to take you through 5 very simple tips to help you score better in your next disc golf tournament and hopefully get that W, although it's not all about winning, based on what I learned in my first tournament of 2024. Let's get to it. Now my first tip might be a little bit controversial, but it is go in with no expectations and also lots of expectations. Let me explain. I think it's helpful to go into a disc golf tournament with goals and ambitions and expectations of what you're capable of, expectations of what you might be able to achieve, and having that as a benchmark. But I think it's also important on the other end of the spectrum that you don't have these things, these big goals of, for example, winning a tournament or shooting a certain rated round or finishing at a certain score. Not going in with that being the sole driver, because I think that can sometimes take you away from and make you lose focus on the little processes that are gonna get you to that goal. So I guess that's the tip. You can have those big outcome overall performance goals, but then what are those little goals that you're gonna focus on, those process goals that are gonna get you to that goal? So for example, it might be just sticking to, as everyone often says, one shot at a time, but what is that next shot in front of you and how are you going to execute that? What are the simple things you're going to focus on, the little cues to help you shoot better? For example, in my tournament, I was obviously trying to win the tournament. I go into every tournament and I try to win it. And I think I got myself caught up in that goal of trying to win, that then maybe when a shot didn't go my way, I started thinking about that rather than the process and just sticking to the little things that I could do right that would, if I did them right, would give me the best shot at winning. My second tip is going to seem very, very basic and very self-explanatory and obvious, but it might be helpful for some. So if you see the basket that we've got here, the tip is to hit this part here with the chains rather than this band part or the cage. Typically, hitting these chain part gives you the best chance of it staying in for the putt than hitting any of the other parts of metal. While saying that in jest, I think it comes down a bit to confidence as well. And practice putting is obviously going to help you get more confident. But I don't think I had been doing that quite enough and started off very, very shaky. And for me, I had missed that first easy gimme putt. And from there, it was just the nerves were in, and I looked at any putt that was outside of 15 feet, even at 15 feet, and I didn't have confidence that it was going in. And that comes down to a number of things. And if you want to know more, we can talk through the, I guess, mental side of putting and go through putting in another video if you'd like to know that. So let me know down below. But I think one thing is just being confident, getting your hand to the chains, up to the basket, putting with confidence, following through, and hitting those chains. That's going to give you the best chance. And I want to just pause quickly here on this tip, because one putting aid that could help you improve your putting is a disc dot. And a lot of you have probably heard of a disc dot before. Basically what it is you can put this little device on a chain link, and it basically provides you with an aiming point that you can try and hit when you do your practice putting. And it basically helps you to focus in. A lot of people often say focus on a single chain link. If you aim small, then your miss will be smaller, and even if you miss, it will only be just off. What's really cool is, if you want to support my disc golf journey, both on the course and also in this content creation space, you can use my affiliate link down below to purchase your own disc dot for yourself. A percentage of your order will go and support my disc golf endeavors. So if you feel so inclined and you want to practice your putting like I do and like I am definitely going to do before the next tournament, use that link down below. I really appreciate the support. But let's get into tip number 3. Don't throw your go-to distance drivers in the water. Ideally, you wouldn't throw your distance drivers in the water where they are now most likely going to be gone forever. Over the course of 3 days, my practice day and then tournament day, I lost 3 of my go-to distance drivers. So the in the bag video that I posted recently has changed, because now I have about half as many drivers in my bag. So if you have any Page Pierce or TI nukes, then feel free to send them my way. But another way of saying this tip could be, do your best to keep it in bounds. There were several times where I threw a shot and maybe I was trying to do too much and I was just trying to throw it hard and wasn't focused so much on just getting it in bounds. There was a par 5 which very, very birdieable if you just get your shots in play. Instead, I kind of was just trying to throw it too hard, nose up, sail all the way left and into the water. So I think sometimes it's important to choose your times, obviously, to go for things, but fairway was bigger very much could have thrown a shot in bounds, and then that sets up for a good second and third shot and in for the birdie. So as best as you can, try to keep those favorite distance drivers, or any disc really, in bounds and out of the water so that you can use them for the remainder of the round. My fourth and second last tip is know what the ground play is going to be like. You can't expect to get a skip back in bounds, for example, when the grass is about knee-high length. That would seem obvious to a lot of you, but just thought I would really let you know about that one. On the other hand, if the grass is shorter, be aware that there can be skips that can help you either keep you in bounds or out of bounds. And similarly, if you land in a puddle, that is also probably not going to get much of a skip and will just stay there as well. So don't rely on skips when there is long grass, wet ground, or puddles. Not going to happen. Now my fifth and final tip to help you score better in your next disc golf tournament is be prepared for any condition. Okay, maybe in Australia and some parts of the world, you're not going to see snow, so you don't need to bring your snow jacket, your gloves, or beanie. But I think it is a very good idea to bring, for example, something that could protect you from the rain. I don't know, if only they created some sort of contraption that you could put up and would just cover you and keep you dry and keep your bag and your discs dry. I know there was something that they created that could help in the rain. Again, very obvious, but for some reason I hadn't yet acquired an umbrella, and when we faced a very, very, very heavy downpour, I got soaked.
It's just so wet. All right. The race is on.
Thankfully, I had this little bit of tissue that I'd kept in my pocket that actually helped to keep my hand dry for 2 of the final 3 holes when it had started raining. Surprisingly, it actually worked quite well. I was able to just keep my hand in my pocket, tap that, keep my hand and my discs dry. It then got to a point though where that had even gotten wet, and then my discs were all getting wet, and so I just had to just accept it, know that I wasn't going to have a great grip, but just grip it and rip it and hope for the best. But if I had have had that contraption that often is known as an umbrella, then that would have helped me out a lot. Keeping the disc dry, keeping me dry, keeping the towel dry, because by the end my towel was soaked, so there was no point in using it to try and dry up the discs. So having gear for when the conditions might become less favorable definitely can give you extra confidence and help you score better. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that the person who ended up winning the tournament, spoilers, it wasn't me, was the only person on my card that had an umbrella for those final 3 holes when it was raining. Sometimes also, if the tee pad becomes a river like it did in our tournament, snorkeling gear, flippers could also be helpful given how much water there is. So keep that in mind as well. You may need to pack extra, so just make sure there's space in your bag for those sorts of things. But that is the final tip. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit silly, but hopefully there was something in there that you took from it. And if there was, let me know down below what you thought, if you agree or disagree. If there was a tip that I didn't say that has helped you in your tournament, please chuck it in the comments so that we can all learn together and get better at disc golf together. As for me in the tournament, I ended up coming tied for second, which honestly wasn't too bad. I had shot a pretty good second round. Unfortunately, my first round was just so bad that there was too much of a deficit to make up, and Nick, who ended up winning, played really clean and solid at the end in order to come through for the victory. So not a bad way to start the season. Definitely very shaky and lots of things that need to be worked on. Hoping to be able to put in more time on practice putting. Again, link for disc dots is down below, as well as my drives too. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and we can maybe do another video like this in the future if you enjoyed this sort of style. I appreciate any feedback. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. But I hope that you've had a wonderful day. Make sure you make it good for somebody else too, and we'll catch you in the next one.